Hello, everybody. Hello, my gunners. This is Fly Dance,
And Mr. T
and this is Allegiance
leads
to the
to the
game.
game.
Don't know.
G. Oh,
Salute,
that's it,
brother.
right?
Yeah, man. So, guys, we all know it's been an interesting week, very interesting week. A good result against Aston Villa, bit of a rocky one, but it was a good thing that we managed to get the win. We're also going to be talking about some of the transfers as well that we saw on deadline day. So we'll be touching base on that as well. But let's go back to the Aston Villa game and let's actually see how well and discuss how well we did and, focus on some of the talking points. So, my guy, what did you think of that game, bro? What did you think of the performance against Villa?
Yeah, I think generally we had a good performance, dominated the game again. Yeah, I think we dominated the game again. Good performance, good press. I think that generally the whole team. It was nice to see that Saka was like. I think in this game you kind of matched the energy of. They're closer to Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli. Yeah,
Mm,
it was just a complete dominant game. They didn't have much, really didn't have much threat at all. Obviously, they got the one
mm,
goal, that fluky goal, do you know what I mean, from the corner. But yeah, dominant game. The
yeah,
only frustrating thing about it for me was we didn't score enough goals. We were on top of the game. We didn't score enough goals. We missed too many chances, and we got to put them games. We got to put them games to bed. Do you know what I mean? Especially like now, obviously, we've got to get them done early so we take off the pressure of ourselves. Do you know what I mean? So we're not having to play such a tense game, and you know, if we got them goals early
absolutely.
up in that half, I think Villa would have just they sort of just humbled away, and this would have been we could have just made some early
Yeah,
changes, but we made it tight, and we got to stop that. We need to stop making the game so tight for the whole 90 minutes. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. I
And making
agree.
it, yeah, do you know what I mean? It makes it tense, and can
Mm,
even get us injuries and whatnot, which is probably now. You know what I mean? We don't need that. We really got now three coming in. So
mm-hmm.
yeah, but it's a good dominant performance. We just got to be more clinical. That's it. We just got to be more clinical and put these games to bed because when you start to play the other teams, you can see that, like for example, the next game which we'll talk about tomorrow is obviously Man United. They got players. I mean, they're playing very poorly, but if you don't put them top side teams to bed, you don't score when you're on top. It just takes
Mm,
5 minutes of, and they got players that will just get banging two goals.
that's right.
Do you know what I
Of
mean?
course.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we can't keep it tight like that. But yeah, in regards to performance in general, yeah, it's another comfortable, dominating
Yeah.
performance.
I think it was
What do you
comfortable.
think?
Well, what was impressive is that, we've been having some injury problems, as we're all aware. So not having Partey in there, in midfield, we know
Yeah,
that also, El Nenny's out for a little while as well. Zinchenko, which was a shame, but it's good to see Tierney back. I think that, he done pretty well. Um, so yeah, so with some of the injuries, was kind of a little bit, you know, down to skin and bones, especially in midfield. But I think we've done pretty well under those circumstances. I think we did really control the game. I like Jesus again. I think he's absolutely fantastic. I think defenders they make mistakes when they're coming up against him. He's so tricky, lively. Um, Martinelli as well. I think he showed some good movements. He had a really wonderful shot as well. In the second half, that was a fantastic
it's a
strike
volley,
when he hit on the volley. Yeah,
yeah,
and I thought, seeing that, but it's funny because later on in the game, he had a chance to really put his boot through it, and he literally
yeah.
scuffed it. So I think these are the things that I think we're talking about of trying to be more clinical, consistent, and and literally showing their worth because we've got some really good boys there. But yeah, I think it was a good dominant performance.
Yeah,
But
I see that. Yeah, I was going to say
um,
with the Congo in there. Obviously, I
yeah,
guess people
Lokonga was in
had a
there.
good game in there. So, but the
Yeah.
thing is, yeah, this is a good game, and obviously, he came in, he done a good shift and stuff. But yeah, there's no threat in there, so they can't get
Yeah,
carried away with that too much because they don't have much midfield threat and stuff like that. So obviously, you can only deal with the job in front of you, and that midfield done his job, but it was a poor, yeah, Villa side that weren't really a battle in midfield. in there.
Yeah, yeah, it was a poor. I mean, they left quite a few key players actually. I mean,
Mm.
Danny Ings didn't even start as well, and I thought, that's
Mm.
definitely a game that they would have started Danny Ings in. So,
Yeah, they banged them all on
um,
it because Gannings come on, Coutinho
yeah,
came on, Douglas Luiz
yeah,
come on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So,
yeah,
yeah, so really, in hindsight, when you actually look at the team that Gerrard played, I actually thought that, to be honest, we should have went 2-3-0 up in the first half, bro. And we
yeah,
should have just
definitely.
kind of just put them out the game.
Especially I still remember the
Um,
second miss.
yes, yes,
Mm.
and yeah, I want, what, good point making, because big up Saka, love you Saka, Bukayo, big man, but we have to be honest, Saka, man, you got to start scoring more goals, bro. You've got to be scoring more goals. A player in his position, I think he should already have like at least 4 goals this season already, minimum,
Mm.
minimum. And that was an opportunity. It was an open goal. Martinelli ripped the ball across, um, and Saka just did not get his boot wrapped around that ball. And for me, that's a lapse of concentration. And I think these are the things that we need to start addressing because they are young players. We've got to remember that. And I think he that was, for me, that's where you're just not focused. You thought, oh, the ball's come at you a bit too fast. Didn't get your foot wrapped around it. So I definitely expect to see improvement in that aspect from Saka. I want to see more goals from him. I want him to have
Yeah.
more confidence, more belief in front of goal because that's his position. He needs to have belief. The goals are going to come predominantly from the strikers. It's going to come from Saka. We expect Martinelli to get his fair share of goals, and we also expect Erdegaard to create more assists and get goals as well. Period. What do you think on that, Paul?
Yeah, Saka is. I kind of think that he hasn't like had a he ain't been bad, but he ain't been of the level that we kind of want, expect, and also I personally think he's got a bit of overhype as well. But we just need him to play his game. Do you know what I mean? He needs to play his game.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think even up to last season, the end of last season, he kind of wasn't, he drifting in and out of games. And I think he started
mm,
the same this season, kind of similar. This is probably the first game I've seen him like with energy, like, do you know what I mean? Like he wants to beat players, he's running out of players. And he matched, do you know what I mean? He kind of matched the energy of near or even getting close to Jesus and Gabriel because
mm-hmm,
Martinelli's kind of overshone him in my opinion, even though his stats are great. I mean, his stats are decent, Saka, but his whole round gameplay just drifts in, drifts out. So, yeah, we need to expect him. Obviously, he should have been scoring that goal because that's just about Tekers. That it's an open goal. It's about
yeah,
Tekers. But what is this from this season? We can't, you know, being wasteful is something that
yeah,
we've been doing for a long time, been for years, even back to when Uber was scoring goals. Do you know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? But it was only him scoring goals. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's why I was
yeah,
lucky in that regards. And that's why he was named with a golden boot. He was golden boot. But then also was still finishing, you know what I mean, sixth and seventh and all that sort of stuff because the others weren't contributing enough and it was being kind of wasteful. So
mm-hmm,
yeah, we can't be like, oh yeah, don't worry, it's only because this has been happening a long time. They need to shake that out of
mm,
their system. Do you know what I mean? You look at Pep and stuff like that, even when things are going well, he will look for what needs improvement and he will, if he needs to shout at the players. I remember one time when Sterling had scored a couple goals, but at the end of the game, you still like tell him like to correct him, saying what he should have done and what not, and
he
that's what he needs
does.
to do because he's being proactive. You don't want to
Mm-hmm,
wait until it's going to cost you. That's when you say, "All right, cool, let's this pressure, let's sort it out," because you want to be proactive with it. And sometimes if it gets to a
absolutely.
point, just like even being wasted with the whole team, it's just like if it happens, then that might start changing the rhythm and the feeling of the team.
Mm,
And because right now they're flowing and they're confident. Do you know what I mean? So,
mm-hmm,
we want to keep that going as long as possible. So yeah, we just got to put them
I
games to bed.
agree.
And yeah, Saka used to be he played well. He played well that game. He just
Yeah,
obviously left that final. Yeah, I mean, even the ball
mm-hmm,
against Martinelli is like he got a lot of praise for that, but it wasn't the best ball. And if you did see the
mm.
way Martinelli actually switched feet because he was coming
To
to
score
him, and then
that
he had to
goal, yeah,
yeah, but he quickly adjusted and stuck it on his left,
mm,
which was quite
yeah.
swift for them. But yeah, man.
Yeah, but I want to touch on that because I still think, I just want to touch on that. That was pretty good. What I would say though is, considering that we just conceded in the way we conceded as well,
Yeah,
that
again.
goal, to be honest, I felt that Ramsdale could have done a lot better. I mean, he let my man literally block him from the corner, and he
Yeah,
just didn't get his positioning right. How do you should not let a player be blocking your view in a
yeah,
set piece? He's
This,
literally
yeah,
he was literally blocking him. And what you're supposed to do is find a position, get in front of him, and make sure that you are aware of what's going on and you can see what's going on as a keeper. That's a fundamental thing. You've got to be able to see
yeah.
where the ball's coming from. So, um, for me, I felt like Ramsdale did make a mistake on that one, but Big Up Aaron still played well, still a good goalkeeper. But I like our response. I like that straight off. We went straight back after them. And as much as, like we said, Saka, we expect you to score more goals, but he's still a wonderful player. And that was lovely technique, the way he held it up and he picked the pass, he saw Martinelli, and Martinelli switched his feet and scored. And I thought that was absolutely wonderful. It was a tricky
Mm.
technique that Martinelli had to do to sort of keep it on target. And
Yeah,
you
he
can
couldn't
tell
switch
that
his feet.
even Martinez, he didn't know how to save it because he wasn't expecting him to sort of guide it in that way. So it's like
Because yeah,
it came at him awkward.
yeah, and the player
You
was
know
in
what I
front of
mean?
him as well. The defender was in front of him, so you have to keep, kind
Yeah,
of just adjust it so he can get around him. But yeah,
yeah,
yeah, definitely, definitely
yeah.
true. Ramsdale, and that's what I'm saying. I've been saying to you, like Arsenal, the personnel in Arsenal back line, like, yeah, I mean, you're happy with it, you're happy with it. But there's something about them so far is that they just don't look solid. Like there's something that you just,
Mm,
do you know what I mean? And there's always something niggly happening. I personally think of, even though like there's other things, is I think this is a bit harsh, I guess, but it's a bit of Ramsdale because I think he, like when he had Martinez in goal and when Ramsdale first came as well, you know, what I mean, it felt solid. It felt solid. There was command in the
mm,
area better. The command in it, and saying what to be, get it out. I don't think maybe he's just not, because he's like the gel in it, he's for that back four in it. So maybe he's just not moving as commanding, and looking at the goal that game, it's like control that area, like. And there's two things you could have done. Like obviously you said, like regardless your positioning, push him off you or whatever, you're gonna generally the keepers get, you know, we get
yeah,
the kind of the more of the
yeah. They'll get more
protection in that,
protection.
yeah,
Yes,
in
yeah,
that period. Or
yeah,
secondly, get one of your defenders and say, look, get this guy away from me. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Get one of your defenders and
Absolutely.
say, cross that area, that's your area, innit? So you
Yeah.
tell one of your defenders, say, look, get this guy away from me. Like you've seen it, you see even other defenders are there, like pushing the other defender away from the keeper because they're trying to
Mm,
stand and impede him.
yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's why he just
Yeah.
needs to kind of control that and that. But
Yeah, yeah. He actually did
oh,
quite. He actually looked lost in that situation. Still, it's like he didn't
mm.
really know how to deal with it. Like Ramsdale
And he's done,
literally looked like he didn't know what to do.
yeah, he's done the thing again when he kicking the ball out and he's
Mm,
kicking it against the other opposition striker and stuff. Like he just needs, I don't know, he just needs to just get his game up a bit. Just getting his game up
yeah,
a little bit.
and
But
to me, that's a lapse of concentration. I feel like he
yeah,
just
yeah,
needs to concentrate, just focus on every single thing that you're doing on the pitch, even if it is just sort of, you're giving a delivery or you're getting the ball out there. Um, take your time, relax. Do you see what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And I feel
It's,
sometimes he's very quite anxious. I feel like he just needs to just
he reminds me
tone
of,
it
and then
down a bit.
people might cuss a bit. Yeah, it's Pickford, but he's not as bad as Pickford was. Pickford's actually calmed down now. He's a bit better now. He's calmed
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
That's why I don't. From before, when he's in the England team, I'm like, what's this guy? This guy is a joker. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, he's just
Mm,
like, you know what I mean, taking too much Red Bull before he's coming out or something. I don't know, um, but Ramsey was obviously a better keeper than him. But he reminds me of him. He's like,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, but he's calmed down a bit. So I think maybe Ramsdale just needs to, not too far off. We're just, we're picking, but these are just little bits that I kind of feel that
Mm.
he needs to just command
It's
the
good
area a
to
bit
pick.
more.
We have to pick because we're top of the league now. As you know, we're 2 points clear of Man City. 5 wins out of 5 is wonderful, but for us to hold and stay consistent, these are the things we need to tighten up on because it's only going to get harder. And these, especially when we go further on in the season and we're playing the big teams, these are the mistakes they will capitalize on. So it's good
Mm.
to kind of address it still. I think.
You know what's reason? This is one random thing. People are cussing off, not cussing off, but like, oh, you haven't played anybody or whatever. I was just talking to my brother just now, and I'm like, "Do you know what? City ain't played anyone yet either. I just noticed obviously Haaland's banged in goals, but they ain't really
Exactly.
played anybody. They play kind of similar teams. They ain't played anyone. Do you know what I mean? But you got to play in front. Obviously, they're different. They're City. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Exactly.
but yeah,
Well, the thing is, you
done
see
well.
what, yeah? The thing is with us, yeah, we're always the scapegoats, isn't it? And like other teams and other people, they always got things to say about Arsenal. Oh, that we ain't win nothing. Oh, when last did you win the trophy? Then we start winning the trophy. Oh yeah, but when last did you win the title? You never won the Champions
Mm,
League. There's
mm,
always got something to say with us. Now we are top of the league. Now I'm not saying that by any means we're going to be holding that spot throughout the whole season, but
Mm.
When last have we? I think it's been back in '97 where we got 5 wins out of 5 straight off, like a clean one in the first month.
Mm.
That's wonderful, fam. Usually we're a team that we sometimes drop points against lesser teams because of complacency. Now we are showing that we're not
Yeah.
having that and we are winning our games. We didn't
Mm.
drop points. We haven't drawn with a couple of games. We've won all 5 games. When last could we say Arsenal have done something to that level?
Yeah. But
So
obviously
we have to,
it's a yeah. Obviously it's a part of it in it, like, and I think what it
mm,
is that when the fact that we can get them points on
yeah,
in the bag while trying to get into rhythm, because everybody's going to be trying to get into rhythm. Do you know what I mean?
that's
But that's
right.
why they
Yeah,
will drop paying points, but they've actually, for them to get maximum points so far. Um, and it doesn't mean anything in regards to the end thing of the season, but it gives you a
mm,
good catalyst. Do you know what I mean? Picking up them points rather than, I mean, Arsenal started, last few seasons, Arsenal have been dropping, pure points, I mean, at the start of the season. So the fact of having them go points in the bag already, it's just a good start, doesn't, you know what I mean? And that's it. It's just a good
yeah,
start. It doesn't
fantastic
put
stuff.
any near, but it doesn't have no bearings on the rest of the season. You know what I mean? As you said, look, we've got a good start, but they're only 2 points ahead of, City and only 4
That's
points ahead
right.
of Spurs. Do you know what I mean? Looking
Yeah.